It doesn't really matter where you go. You're still in the wilderness. Anywhere. Came into this world single-handed, by yourself. And then you're just surrounded by certain people that shape you throughout your life. And if they ain't right, in all likelihood, you won't be right either. Until you encounter like an awakening or something. This is what is natural, the feeling. I mean, even if we are on a tilt and the earth is leaning so the water can flow, then that's what needs to happen for the water to keep moving. But everything that happens in here is natural. Just adapts to whatever. When you leave in God's hands, you leave it in what is the natural state of mind. Stop thinking. Stop analyzing it. Hey Click, I really appreciate my new property. I love that river right there. I can definitely get used to that. I can't wait to start riding some of my horses. But this is what I was talking about from before. This is ultimate sharing. It was a good idea to open this up. Teach kids how to ride a horse, and adults. That's a nice touch there too. Hey, Click, thanks man, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess you guys knew it all along, right? I'm Click's top agent. Hey, I mean, how obvious is it? Look, you gotta come clean. So what if the Masons are gonna slit my throat and pull my tongue out through the roots? I don't know why they would do that. After, before. And after a while, it grows back. Apparently it starts to spring up again when the twin system's cut off. That's so cool, the bat mailbox, bird box. Yeah, so, I mean, how else did I know what you guys were doing, what the host body is, what's going on internally? Somebody had to tell me. Couldn't have just been God. Or it could have been God. Maybe God was telling me this entire time. And then the twist is that Click's going to be like, hey, Rob, I'm your God. You were getting the information from me. Remember? I was telling you. I mean, I wasn't specifically speaking about it. I was just telling you because you were hearing what I was saying. But for some people, they think it's just like it's nothing but a bunch of like just fairy tale type of stuck in a with mixed with the iron and the clay. Aliens, huh? Wow. Aliens. You know how humans have bone skeleton bones, and then they're born with flesh. So aliens are born with iron, and then they mix it with clay. Yeah. See, in the end, you have to come clean. That was the deal. You just got to come clean. I'm Kleck's #1 agent. I have been for a while. He really didn't want to tell anybody because you know how that goes. Like, if you show favoritism, which you do, then you tend to get people upset. But there are people thinking, like, how? Because you know, the guys, the ones on the inside that really do know that this is true, and you really do know what I'm saying is right about it, just those secrets. And so maybe you might have wondered, because I'm sure even Justin's still wondering, am I an agent from the inside? Well, of course I am. Of course. Inside of what? Inside of the kingdom? Sure. Which kingdom? The one in heaven. Right, but which heaven? The pretend heaven that turns into hell? Or the heaven in the spiritual realm? Or am I from hell? Because it sure feels like I'm in it. But I've always been here on this earth. There's other people that haven't. They come down from like high mountains. Kleck, I also appreciate how you gave me this entire path. Because I like to give people freedom to move around, to fish on my property. Just keep it clean. Nah, but seriously though, spoken like a true Mason, that language, it's a lot more clear now. It's even getting clearer and clearer, but that's because it's at the obvious state of just what it is. It's fallen and it's fallen. I will. It's like the best sound on earth, right there. See, when Jonathan talks today to the people that know him and the promises that people have been given, and when he talks about YG and he's like, "You're done, bruh," or whatever. To YG, he's looking at that as that's just playing around. You know how we do, because you bit off each other, and when you do it on video, the Masonic rule is to just act like you're their enemies when you're really good buddies. And so the good buddies, they continue to just play this thing out. So when the people behind the scenes have known John, and they've known like what he's capable of, what he's done, and what they believe he's going to do next. But he's really serious when he says that to those. But he's also talking to the angel of the bottomless pit, and according to the group that follows him, because they're told, if you're looked at as Jesus, then whoever you're trying to take down in this world would be considered the angel of the bottomless pit in that narrative. So that there's different narratives. But the only way anything can actually change in this world is if the angel of the bottomless pit makes the change. If not, you're not going to change at all. We're all doomed. And it was nice knowing everybody. Guess I'll see you or not. I don't know. I don't know how this thing works when you physically die. Your spirit goes somewhere. I hope. I mean, don't you hope it does and just doesn't stay there in the ground while they're burying you? And then your spirit is there, but who said your spirit even leaves your body? People that don't believe in God, that would be a scary thing to think of, if you just stay in your body forever. That's it. And you're just there. But that wouldn't make any sense, right? Because why would God even create you to just die and lay there for an eternity? Wouldn't you rather just go to hell where there's some action going on instead of being stuck in one place? But the perception is, Jonathan Kleck has this thing that he's getting different perceptions of people's beliefs depending on which level you're on. If you're a 33rd degree, then I think you know the secret, right? Because that's a requirement. I don't know what it is to get to the 33rd, like as the 32 degrees. And maybe you've heard about some kind of thing, but you got to take a leap of faith to, like when there's darkness from the 6th to 9th hour, you just need to believe that what has happened is what needed to happen. Or you catch wind to the host body system and you get lured into doing it because that's what you want to do. And then you live out your life like that. Free will decision on your end. Our bodies, our flesh bags, they die off sooner or later. So which way are you going to go? Until you get there. Take care of the body that you have. And that's what that third degree is. It's a third, the last, where there's 3 like initiatives. This is what I've been learning just by listening to some videos at work. You get initiated at first, and then maybe you get some other perks to join as a second. And then if you get the third, I believe it's access throughout the planet. I mean, I like that idea, but I also like the idea of free will and freely given. When you have more than plenty, then give and share, and then it'll be easier for everybody to live on this planet, and we would all be in better moods. So for everybody from the inside, like that Kleck talks about in a bad way, he may just mean it, and he's only kidding in the other direction where he's acting like he's somebody's enemy, but he's really not. But in secret, this is coming up. It's not really going to be a physical one, but it's definitely time to start fishing. Peter, stocked trout waters. This water is stocked with trout. Stocked. You are permitted to fish on this property. However, this waterway is designated and stocked trout water and is closed to fishing from March. But it is stocked. Stay 6 feet away from the next person. You got to be safe. Definitely report violations. Only if you weren't, if you didn't, like, if you swore to secrecy, I get why you wouldn't want to say anything. But if you didn't swear to secrecy and you might have a clue, you're allowed to say whatever you want. If you're pretending that you're not from the inside and you're exposing what the inside is, well then I think you're going to be the scapegoat. And we're going to have like a period of time where we're going to be trying to locate help after the second time that there's some kind of incident that happens. But they have the power to stop the incidences from happening too. So if they actually do happen, there's going to be a lot of people that are pretty damn surprised at the results, the end results. Because things are so hard to believe. It's not hard to believe anymore on my end, just that how the elite are playing out the end times prophecy, and it's happening right now. And it's coming to the end point of the whole, all the years put in, all the plans and everything that was set up is coming to a wrap. There's a big burning coming up, and the earth is reserved for fire. If anybody was counting on a man to do anything, to help save you, Don't. If you live luxuriously and deliciously, and you haven't started to repent, and you just go all the way to the end, and then that's why everybody has to go to the end, because they need to see how God works. There's always twins. And something lurking in the background. Because it's about the energy. That's what God is, energy. If you're looking for a human being to be God, don't. It's the energy that comes from God. That's why in this system, they're going to claim a God. They're going to claim that somebody's the Lord God. And there's going to be a group of people that actually believe it. And then there's a group that they know that it's not the original birthright. So they put him in place. And that's the part where when they say he's over here or he's over there, don't believe it. And so Christ was talking to his disciples about that. But his disciples, it's like they were doing the same thing. They were playing this out before him on like a make pretend level. And then it started to actually come true. So technically in the system itself, they have somebody already picked, and they have another one picked, and I think they have another one picked. This is like just in case, you got to have 3 of them. Because if one of them dies, just like what if, because you know how Trump was, he was born to be the president. But what if he died during the period of when he first started? Like when he first was basically initiated to be that president, the 45th president. What if he died along the way? Then you'd have to have a clone. You can either clone him, or you just have somebody wear the same mask with the same voice. And it's just an act. Maybe the person really didn't even look that way from the beginning. Just question everything until you finally get answers. You might not ever get answers. So just keep questioning it. How does all this work? For my 4 years on the YouTube platform, here's what I've seen. I noticed that I hopped into a world of people that were already there, and they already had some plan set up, and then they tried to play that plan on me. And then I didn't even know it at the time, but Derek Davis did. And then it's like that vision failed as well. That simple one. And then so we keep coming along, and then you start finding more and more key players that seem to be higher up on the food chain. Then you start focusing on them, and then you see it playing all over again. And you see it on a different level. It's like the beginning level, and then the master level. So what I see is there's at least 2 different gods, 2 different interpretations of Adam and Eve. One of them is a singular person that has Adam and Eve inside. Another one is twins, that would be Adam and Eve, the woman and the man. So that would be played out that way. Is that Jesus over there in the desert, or is that Jesus over there in the wilderness, or wherever else he was? And so the reality is, well, it's the Spirit itself that takes over in mankind. The reason why Christ, his hands were always tied up, is because he was constantly reaching out to that side on the left and that side on the right. And that one side was willing and accepting, and the other one was still kicking and screaming. But in the end, they both came together in the same vessel. They became one, just like the magnets. As simple as it is, that Kleck shows you, it's as dead point on as it can get. The purpose is to get whoever is in charge of the planet, to get them to change their ways. But you can only do that if you help them see their sin. You can't see their, like, if you don't know what their sins are, they're not paying attention to you. If you can find out what their sins are when nobody ever said a word about what they actually are, then I think you're going to get their attention. And so then when you can see their sin, you can show it back to them. And then what they'll do in return is they'll show you your sin back to you. Thank you very much. And then you'll be like, I get it. I see. If anybody's experienced this, and it's like, oh yeah, it's hey, thanks. It actually helped, and I'm glad that I stayed away from that sin from that point on. So not only is it the Christ spirit that comes, but it's John the Baptist spirit as well, because he's the one that baptized Jesus. That perfect man. Perfect. We can walk right on that water to the other side. No questions asked. If he was really here right now. If you can really do that. But he can do that. He can walk on water. Just the different waters. So the perceptions out there on this platform that I've noticed, and there's a lot of people that are confused, and there's also a lot of people that believe one side or the other. And then whichever side you believe, whether you go double down or double up, there's two different ways to go in that host body system. One of them is internal, like a constant spark. But on the outside, you can't tell. But on the inside, it's like I think it's like a circle or something, like a wheel. Big wheel keeps on turning. Proud Mary keeps on burning. This one was injured in the battle. This guy's leg amputated. And got his head chopped off. We're nothing but trees, but we die too. Eventually trees keel over. That's the end of them. So can you imagine if this tree was still alive and I'm stepping on its stomach right now? And it's still like, get off me! Get off me! I can't even defend myself. And so one side picks a God, and then, but if that's a true God that they do wind up picking, then that person's going to just refer to God the Spirit and say, stop worshiping me, worship God. If the other person takes the realm and wants to be worshiped as God, then he'll be the one to exalt himself, and then he'll be humbled, and then the one that humbles himself will be exalted, because that's scripture. But there's a bunch of people that might think that they're the ones that are going to get exalted, and there may be a bunch of people that think that they're going to be humbled first, and they already know that they've been. Or maybe that's nobody just yet, and that's coming. So could the Masons be worshiping God in the end? Yeah, it's possible for anybody to worship the true God. That spirit that dwells inside of you can be worshipped. More like a high respect, appreciation for the company of the spirit. Because worshiping is just, it's such a, like, worship. Like, get down and worship. So the candidates are out there. The top tier people, they have it. They're the ones that picked them, and it's being played out. And they'll look at somebody as their God, but that person will look at God as all of our gods. Like, haven't I said ye are all gods? Like God's property. Like, you're like singular. Ye are all gods. But on earth, ye are all gods. Because people are worshipped as gods. When you get your shoe deal,